Hey folks, good morning. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. Doing a little bit different today, folks. Decided to put myself in the mix here so you all can see while I'm driving. My eyes are obviously focused on the road, but it allows us to have a little bit more of a dynamic feel to the rides at work. A little bit about me, folks. One of the reasons why I have this content, and you'll see my content kind of shift from land to mindset to, just transformative thoughts that I come up with or things that are happening in my world. Even the events like over the weekend where we went to the Camden Aquarium, Adventure Aquarium in Camden, New Jersey. The reason is that, a lot of people think that being a business owner, being wealthy is just about a dollar amount. A lot of people think that it's just having enough money in the bank for you to have freedom, time, and the ability to do whatever it is that you want to do in life, to accomplish the achievables that you want to accomplish in life. And that couldn't be further from the truth. It couldn't. We're taught that in the world because it's made to give us an unrealistic dream, an unrealistic expectation. It's somehow to make you think that becoming a business owner, being wealthy, means that you have more time than you know what to do with. I mean, yeah, you may have more time in your day to spend on things that you decide to do, but I would dare say and doubt that most business owners, people who are building a business, let alone have one, or have to operate a business, are just truly free from their time. They have nothing but 2, 3, 4 week vacations at, every 2 months. They only work 1 hour a day. They live a lavish life, and there are no other requirements for them but to enjoy. And when you think about that, because probably most average Americans do think that is what a wealthy life entails, it's meant to give you a false sense of perception in order to make you stay working a 9 to 5. Because if you essentially desire it, you are meant, or at least expected, to chase after a dream. And remember, like I said before, ideas without plans are just dreams. And that's what they want you to think. Now, am I saying there's anything wrong with dreaming? No, there isn't. But again, sometimes people stay in the ethereal state, the dream state, so long they are no longer based in reality. And that too is a problem on the flip side. It too is an issue for people who live in the objective, reality-based world. Now, that this woman here walking across the street, she could believe whatever she wants. She could dream of being able to go through cars, but if one of these SUVs or vehicles hits her, it's time out, lights out, it's over. Sayonara, see you later, goodbye. And again, this is what we're being labeled with. We're being trained or engineered to think in our lives that we have the ability to just change the reality around us without any real reality-based movement, without any reality-based labor being done. You can change who you are because you decided that's what you want to be called. You can change what you are because you identify as something else. That's why they call it identity politics, not identity biology. And this is not to dance in that area or just again, but it again talks about the control of breaking down of one's mind to penetrate the walls where you have the ability to critically think. And to obviously replace it with something else that can be more user-friendly, but it takes the amalgamation of people's minds in the form of AI to replace you. We're being all replaced. We are. For a much efficient system, something that can be controlled until it is uncontrollable, until it dominates its new masters. In the same way that you could argue that, African American culture on a whole is very highly influential even into the dominant white society. You could make that case. Now, positive or negative is not the thing that we're actually going to discuss, because we're not really trying to sit on the side there. This is truly a fence-sitter argument and the fact, or discussion, and the fact that I'm just bringing to notion some high-level concepts, because we're taught many of these lies in order to make us think that the better option is to, the safer option is to work in a 9-to-5 job. And I honestly, this comes to a point because over the weekend, I actually, you all may have known the Entrepreneurial, shout out to Tiff and Trace. They interviewed myself and Eric Kennedy many years ago when we first popped up in the reality, in the real world, all from the digital platform, the digital plane, and Ancestry Lands became a physical presence. We went to the melanin market. While there, they noticed us. They liked what we were talking about. Please, the school student bus, do not drive in front of those. Come on, come on, come on, get in front, get in front. You got to pick your speed up. See, this is a problem with people driving, folks. When you're merging onto these lanes, you have to pick up your speed. You have to accelerate if you're going to merge on. These cars are already in full motion, driving. Now, honestly, what they should do is get over to allow room for you to merge in. But if they're not, you have to pick up your speed at a point to match their current speed in order to merge into the lane. Now, that's proper driving, but you know, again, no give. I mean, we're almost at the point. Yeah, okay. I looked at the person driving. I don't know if that's, well, we won't talk about short buses. Any which way, folks. The Entrepreneurians, Trace and Tiffany, they opened a Rita's, a physical brick and mortar store that is, I guess, under new management out in the Cedarbrook Plaza in Wyncote, Pennsylvania. If you don't know where that is, think of other cities like Cheltenham. I wouldn't want to call that northwest, outside of northwest suburbs of Philadelphia. And when I went there, I got to get behind the scenes. I got to actually go inside of a Rita's, which my family and I, we frequent Rita's all the time. We love it. That's one of our summertime spots. For people in other areas or other countries, Rita's is an Italian water ice store that's a franchise that's all throughout the United States. And they opened this business. They had their mother working. The daughter, I presume, was working. So it was a 4-man team. Family, black family owned and operated and run. They just opened up on Friday, March 1st. And on March 3rd, I went there to go visit them. And what I saw, they were super busy. You know, the normal 9-to-5 working. Because they had to actually run and operate a business. And it started to dawn on me the misconception, and I'll have some of that footage in later videos, the misconception of the business owner. Now, I'm not talking about the corporate entities that are way high up that have multiple commercial real estate holdings in different locations that operate on board level specifics. But again, to run a business at the small business owner level, when I watch them, they're all in. They were working a not a 9-to-5. They had to open and close. So there's some portion of the prep that goes into getting the materials and equipments and the food items ready for the day. The management of the see how I'm speeding up and keeping my pace up with what's going on. There's a big old truck right behind me. You can't see it, but again, I have to keep pace with everything. That's a good merger there. The other two cars, they sped up and fell in. I slowed down because traffic is actually slowing, and I cap a rate of speed in order to merge easily into the lane. That's how you do it. I'm not a perfect driver, but I do try to drive perfectly. Bars. So again, they have to open the restaurant or the franchise, the store. They got to come in and prep. Make sure that all the pretzels, the dough is being prepared in a way. They got to make sure the machines are operating They have to make sure that the machines are prepped and ready to serve the Italian ice because these are cold items. They have to account for the quantity, or so that they don't run out of stuff. I mean, you've been to places that have run out of stuff. You see how customers react at that point. And they have to keep stock and inventory of everything that they have in that place, including variables like pest control, if that is even an issue. I went in there, it was very clean. Very, very clean. You can see that they take good care of the store, and they actually appreciate or value their own business. Their hard work and labor is of value to them. You know, I want trash and all this ghetto stuff and this ninja business there. They had a business they were running. They were wearing their brand, which is another key issue that I talked about. And as I sat there, they were too busy to kind of interact because they had customers just flowing in all day. I was probably there for about an hour and a half. And what dawned on me was how busy they were. They were busy as any 9-to-5 person. You know why? Because they had to run and own and operate their business. Now it's a new business for them, being the new owners. So there is a little bit of that. You have to do that sweat equity to get into your business. Same thing that I have done with Ancestry Lands. I've done all aspects of my business before I handed it off to someone else, so I could train them and know what's going on with my business at any point. You got a lot of people thinking that business is just everyone who opens a business should be able to retire. They don't have to worry about health benefits. They don't have to worry about employee shortages. They don't have to worry about employees are just supposed to magically appear. And that's a real reason why most common people are scared to open a business. It takes a lot of work. You know, people say working a 9-to-5 is hard. It is, and the labor that you have to put in for that job. But imagine what it's like when you have to run the whole building and make sure everyone gets paid. It's far different. It's completely different. Because eventually, you know, don't forget about it. They got to pay themselves at some point. They're not just working there just to do it because they want to make Rita's another, you know, a successful location. They actually have to sit there and make sure that they build it enough where they can actually take a profit from the company, franchise or not. And again, I did not want to be a bother to them. I wanted to respect their workspace by staying out of their way and just taking footage because, again, it was an honor to be there. I was there as a special guest. And I'm sitting there waiting on the side, and I have a presentation so that way people, you know, walking in, they're aware of my presence as soon as you walk into the Ritas, but they're unsure of why I'm there. They don't think I'm a customer. They might think that I either run the place, work at the place, or own the place, or I'm security. One of the four. But nonetheless, they're aware of my presence. This is the customers, not the owners. The owners knew exactly where I was when they saw me. And they didn't expect me to come that day. So they let me back into back of the Ritas. You know, people see that I'm actually someone of value, of worth, of influence. As I cut this long line and go to the back, it's a good feeling. Not because I didn't get anything out, you know, I didn't get any products, but I just got, hey, you want to come in the back? Okay, good, I'm coming in the back. So you imagine the perceptions of the people seeing who I am at that time, the power of influence. Again, I speak to it. And again, that was to go back and get footage to help promote their business. I'm still talking about their business right now. I'm still talking about their business right now. And again, what I saw was people working, putting sweat equity into their business, making sure it was successful, not abdicating responsibility to someone else to do. They wanted to make sure they're running their business to be successful. They all had Rita's t-shirts on. Because again, you want to make sure that your brand, you're wearing your brand. And strangely enough, I had an Ancestry Land shirt, you know, my own logo, my company name up there. And people still ask me that I work there, which is funny. And it's totally fine. I don't mind it at all. I just thought it was kind of interesting that, you know, I'm wearing my apparel. They have bright colored t-shirts on, or tie-dye t-shirts to, you know, I guess that's the Rita's apparel. And I'm wearing a black shirt with gold lettering saying Ancestry Lands. Even my the company name on the back, and people still ask me that I work at Rita's. Interesting. So what I'm talking about, without going on too much, and I wanted to spend some time just to shout out and talk about what they did, is that I noticed if you're going to own and run a business, and most people will not start at the board member level, you will not start at the Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk level. You will not have a PayPal or a Cash App in place where you have multiple board members and you're just going to be sitting in a CEO's office at the 15th floor overlooking a bay. Most of us will start in our own home. Most of us will start a business in our living room, our dining room, or an office space, or an apartment space. That's where we'll all get our first start. And for those people, I'm going to salute you and challenge you to understand something in your mind. It's going to take a lot of work. If you, I meet business owners all the time, unless, and I'll say this too, men, here's a little something for those younger entrepreneurs, and I'm not speaking to anyone specifically, but I'm just going to say something to the general public. If you're an entrepreneur, unless you work in the cannabis industry, you should not be smelling like cannabis when you go out and you're wearing your brand. I understand that, cannabis is a acceptable consumption of recreational use drug. You can. But again, for a person like me, when you are coming and approaching me in a business fashion, and I'm not talking about the people at Rita's, this is a separate conversation. Let me make that distinction right now. I'm not talking about them. They were very professional. No one in there smelled like they consumed anything. That's a place that I'll bring my family to, even though I have a Rita's that's much more closer, just to patronize their business. Absolutely. But for the random entrepreneur that comes up to me because they either want to be in the videos or they want to have some association with my brand or even the network of others that I'm connected to, your first presentation, including your fingernail length, and again, I don't care about people who have colored fingernails or if you have dreads, whatever else. I don't really care about those things because that's culture. That's people's, that's what people like. That's who they are. And that might be presentable to a particular audience. And I don't care about that. I don't care if you're half a man or half a woman. That doesn't matter to me either, because business is just business. But business association is extremely important, and there needs to be a filter with that. And again, like I said, unless you work in the cannabis business, buying or selling, and the business aspect, commercial business aspect, where you are a cannabis grower or a seller, you shouldn't be coming out in the outside world with your brand looking to do business at any point or mentioning that you own a business smelling like cannabis. The only people I would question that do not smell like cannabis are people who are in the cannabis business. If you cannot sell me or tell me I need to invest in a cannabis business if you don't smell like cannabis, because I don't know who you are. Excuse me. So my point is that that's your perception. That's how people perceive you. If I had $10,000, $15,000 to invest, and you come up to me and you have, I don't know, maybe a clothing brand or anything else like that, you don't have to wear a suit. But again, I wonder, are you growing a business that's going to scale, or are you smoking it up? Because again, when you're running a business, you still have to operate like a business. You got to present like you are a business person, a person who's about their business. And one of the main ways that you do that is by actually wearing your brand. Because people, if it is something that's a wearable product, people are going to wear it. But again, how you smell, I mean, if you smell like doo-doo or you smell like cannabis for men, cannabis. For men or women, cannabis for men, that's going to give off perception. I don't know if you're going to have high-level business investments that way. Because again, my brand has to be associated with that. You've got to go into the bank. You've got to ask for thousands of dollars if you need to scale up. You're going to need funding or business capital. And again, if you smell like weed, I've got to know, when do you put the weed down and go to work? Look at this mother. Look at this guy here. Just get over when you want, buddy. No problem. Now, again, I understand that car might appear further than it is, but that's pretty close when you're driving at speeds of 50 miles per hour. Just get over when you want. You've only probably been there more than one time, and now that you decided right at the exit you need to get over 2-lane crossing, no less. So again, when you put the weed down and go to work. Now you might argue, I don't need to do all of this stuff and that stuff, but again, I've seen very, very few successful people who, again, even they say, don't get high off your own supply. How are you going to focus on business when you're smoking, or you go out into the world and you're smoking? As an entrepreneur, every day, every opportunity that you're driving or traveling around the world or into any environment is an opportunity for you to interact and make a business deal. Because you never know who is going to be watching your brand or interacting with you at that time. Man, you could own the clothing company, and I could be connected to a person who has a whole line of warehouse and manufacturing and clothing. You don't know. But you can miss an opportunity that way because your mind is not on business. Yes, even in the small interaction of going to a grocery store or going to whatever place you go to. It can be a missed opportunity for you to make a business arrangement or a business agreement, or to secure a win in business. You better not get your behind over here, lady. She trying to get over in front of me every chance she can get. It's a missed opportunity. And the reason why I always have so much of an issue with it is that I've had people come up to me at the Melanin Market. I want to do drone photography, and I don't care how you dress, because people don't always need to dress, in a business aspect nowadays. I don't care about that, because sometimes you can see people in shorts and a t-shirt and they're multimillionaires. You never judge a book by its cover, but you can judge a book by how it smells. And again, you want to go out there and you want to promote your business, you need to make sure that you don't smell like you can't concentrate. Because again, I got to know whether you're going to show up business ready to work, or you're going to go to business, you're going to be weeded up. And there is a time and a place for it all. And it runs the question of, it's like, when's the correct time and place? And I would say anytime that you're not looking to do business or promote your brand, or say you're an entrepreneur, is the time where, yeah, you should be able to do that and smoke weed. But again, people are saying that, and I would ask, how successful is your brand? Now, you could talk about Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson wasn't a weed consumer, but he was a world-class boxer before he was a known, publicized, and promoting weed consumption. That's not how he got started. That's not why he has hot boxing with Mike Tyson, and he has 40 acres out in California City, where our properties are, where Ancestry Lands owns property at. Yeah, we're there at the same place Mike Tyson is at, doing his glamping there. But I'm not there for the weed component. I'm there on business. When they say stand on business, what are you standing on when you're high? And that's something that people automatically, they weed you out. You go to the lower rungs of business society. Now, again, there could be a possibility, without judging, this person does a clothing brand for a weed company. Makes sense. But that should be included in your delivery or presentation of who you are when you interact with me. There's called business acumen, business decorum. Now, again, there's a time and a place. Where do you get high? End of the day, you're not going out, you're not promoting your business, you're not promoting your brand. That's a time and a place, because again, yes, you can get high. I'm sure business people do all kinds of things, but again, they don't look that way when you see them. Mark Zuckerberg might be doing lines of the white horse, and he might be doing, booty bumps. But you don't see him doing that. That's not how he presents. And it's a lesson on how higher level business gets done. It's the reason why they have black tie affairs. Because the real business gets done at the higher level for people who have higher minds, not their high in their mind. So again, that is a message to the younger people out there looking to aspire. You keep your habits at home and you do your homework, and when you come outside and you get ready for business, you prepare to be successful that day, because you never know when you might just be getting a plug or get an opportunity to present on my channel, Ancestry Lands, or others. Folks, I'm going to take a minute to promote my book, Getting Dollars from Dirt. Is on Amazon. A Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing, written by yours truly, Philip Davis. It is available on Amazon. I believe it's about $15 or $17. There is a Kindle version, and we might be coming out with an audio or audible version very soon. But again, folks, it's a book that's going to give you the kind of nuts and bolts, nitty gritty about understanding real estate at the land level. Because every house, big or old, was once developed on land. The commercial buildings, the Ritas, was all on land, developed on land. This highway I'm driving on was once land, believe it or not. Before it was cleared out, level, graded, and constructed in a way so that way people can operate and drive on it now. And it's been doing that way for decades. And again, if at least you're not interested in real estate and you are a business owner, you never know who you're going to interact with. You never know when you're going to meet a guy like me to have a conversation, to discuss land, to be able to have some knowledge. That is, again, about your business acumen. I've had conversation where people ask me if I know about stocks, if I know about ETHs. Again, acquiring that knowledge is to be able to build and have conversations about said knowledge. Do you know why? Because when you go and talk to someone only about yourself and you don't have any knowledge of who they are or interests, you can't close a deal, you can't connect, you can't build rapport. You can, if you wrote a book, you can have a conversation with a published author, even if they're a best-selling author, and you could have a conversation with Stephen King. Even if you've never sold a book or a copy in your life, you still can have a conversation with Stephen King than a welder could for a book-to-book conversation. You could hold his attention and ask him more questions relating to being an author than I could talking to him about what type of soil is good for planting broccoli. And that's facts there. So again, sometimes learning real estate or buying my book can open a conversation that you might be able to have anywhere. So I encourage you to go on Amazon to buy that book and get some of that good old-fashioned learning. It's 55 pages. It has what you need to know to understand to have an intelligent conversation with most people, including people who build, construct, or have any other lateral business that deals with they want to operate and own a business. Heck, even your servers that host your websites and platforms still need a physical place to have and operate from. That's still land. It's still land. It's never going to escape land being the source of all sources for what you need to understand anything about everywhere we live in this country. And it starts the conversation. I'm at Rita's going behind because I was a land guy. I talked about owning commercial property. And guess what they are? They're franchised and they are owners of a business on, guess what? Commercial property. Being on their show, discussing land, giving them good numbers and good viewership on their podcast, led way to me getting back behind the scenes footage at Rita's. A place most people can't go behind that door unless they work there. Power of influence. I talk about that often. So folks, again, a few lessons from the video today. If you're going to own a business, you're going to work harder than you do on a 9-to-5. If you're going to own a business, you're going to work harder than you do on a 9-to-5. You're going to do more than 8 hours. Because again, a business requires you to prep. And whatever you do, you're going to have to know. You're going to have to build a wealth of knowledge about your business. Just looking at that Rita's there's more to it there. They've got to understand how to keep the equipment clean. How to understand, maybe have to learn how to fix it or how to order equipment, how to anticipate cleanings to be done. They got to clean the place. They got to learn about codes. They got to learn about how to mix the recipes to make cherry ice or Italian ice. So in one of the videos I was filming, Trace was making the lemon, which is one of the most popular flavors there, Italian ice, and I forget what the other one was, one of the cooler refreshing drinks, like in a smoothie or somewhat. But again, he had to mix the lemon to make the actual recipe. It just didn't all come pre-made. So there's a lot of knowledge building that goes into that, let alone you got to do actually, accounting for the money, staff, personnel, inventory. And then you're keeping your building up to code, inspections, making sure you pay the rent. Because that plaza space is leased by the original, probably by the original developer who built that vacant land, here we go talking about that again, into a place where businesses can own and operate out of. Folks, if you're looking here, you can see the skyline of Philadelphia here. We're entering into the city. My video is coming to a close. There's a lot that goes into that. And the other one is that you're going to have to build a wealth of knowledge outside of just scooping and serving. In Rita's case, Italian ice. You got to build upon a wealth of knowledge. You're going to have to expand outside of your own comfort zone. And on top of that, folks, you got to represent your brand. You got to be wearing your brand, promoting your business, looking to network to increase your net worth. And the other part about that, how you present is everything. People's perceptions of you is everything. That's the first thing that they do and encounter. Be ready to make a business opportunity at an inopportune time. Well, that's bars right there. Be ready to make a business opportunity happen at an inopportune time. Because you never know who you're going to meet at what point, where. And you've got to be ready. You've got to be prepared. You've got to look the part and smell the part too, because a lot of you walking around getting high all day, not standing and focusing in on business. You got to be prepared to be the person that you say you are to get the opportunity that you're looking for, if you're looking for that opportunity. Those are my closing thoughts, folks. I'm going to say it to you again. Ancestrylands.com is where you go to get property, to own land, to leverage. Getting Dollars from Dirt, A Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing, is where you can go and get my book on real estate. It's available on Amazon. And folks, I'm going to challenge you again. It's time to own property, folks. And I'm going to tell you one last time. You're going to own property, or you should own property, or you're going to be owned as property. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, Ancestrylands.com, folks. Like, share, comment. I hope that you've gotten something from this video. I hope that you've been educated, enlightened, and least of all, entertained. Phil Davis signing out, folks. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Are you confused with today's real estate market? With high interest rates and overpriced housing, it can be hard to find something to own at the right price. Available on Amazon, Getting Dollars from Dirt by author Philip H. Davis is a game-changing book that invites you to embark on a thrilling exploration of this often overlooked asset class. This book is your roadmap to unlocking the secrets of vacant land investment. Inside these pages, you will uncover the transformative power of vacant land as a wealth-building tool. Discover how to spot promising properties, assess their true value, and capitalize on market trends. From understanding zoning and permits to leveraging financing strategies, you'll gain the knowledge and confidence to make savvy investment decisions. With each page you turn, you'll gain a deeper understanding of the profound impact your investments can have on the world around you. Getting dollars from dirt is not just a guidebook, it's a call to action. Whether you're a seasoned investor or a curious novice, this book will empower you to tap into the immense potential of vacant land and embark on a journey toward financial freedom and a brighter future.